I really like this. This is kind of really answering some questions or giving me some insight about my city. I
Really?
like it.
What kind of insight have you picked up?
Thanks. I needed that. So my insight of my city is like, I guess I didn't know I was so willing to tell you I'm a slut. No, it's no seriously.
My premise for the podcast is basically terraforming the subconscious and asking people, have you ever thought of your soul as a place, and what might your spiritual landscape look like? And then just the way that we were talking about Albion in your life, kind of exploring whatever might come to mind. So had you ever thought of your soul as a place before?
Actually, no. To me about doing this little interview thing.
So you hadn't thought of it as a place until I contacted you?
I hadn't. You know what?
Not deliberately?
I'll say I thought about it as a place, but I thought about it as like a place of security for me, and
Okay.
also a place of where I think it was a place where I really like, as they always say, like soul search, where I kept like my good stuff, like my good, bad, ugly emotions are what make up the soul.
Okay.
So I think that if I had to like think of it as a place, I would think of it just like a city.
Okay.
There's an area where it's more urban.
Okay.
There's an area in my soul where it's more bougie. There's your area in my soul, where the rivers flow with tons of emotions. So I would have to think of it as like a nice little city kind of thing, I guess.
Cool.
So there's like a center of the city where, like all the emotions meet up and make up the soul. But then there's like each branches of the city. Like the north side is this, the south side is that. So I think that's what it would probably be like.
Are you able to go into a little more detail? The north side is...
So let's just say like the north side of town would be the passion, because I'm extremely passionate about the things that I do in my life, whether it's drag or being in love or my family or whatever. So that would probably be like passion.
Okay.
And then I'm very spontaneous, so I think that would be an area in the city of spontaneity.
Oh,
is that the right
spontaneity.
Word? Spontaneity.
Yeah. Cool. What part of the city?
Right word? Spontaneity. Okay. Yeah.
What part of the city does that feel like?
That probably would feel like the ghetto.
The ghetto. All right.
That would be where it just went down. Like, just let's do it. Whatever happens.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Okay, so maybe not a particular cordoned off section, but like kind of the underbelly of the city.
Yeah, just like the ghetto, like the Skid Row. Like, let's just go down there and do whatever happens.
All right, cool. And then what other zones you got?
And then I would say like there's a passion zone, there's a spontaneous zone, there's a loving zone, of course, because I'm a very loving
where's
person.
a loving zone?
Yeah,
is that like the red light district, or is
that's
different?
More like the yellow light district. Proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Before you get fucked up.
Yeah.
So I would say that's more like the yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then there's like a really sexual portion. I'm a really sexual person.
Yeah, and I think we all are. We all are down. I think, and it really makes a lot of sense, because I think, well, I don't want this to be too much about me extrapolating in there, but yeah, I mean, how does the sexuality inform your?
I just think I'm a different person. Most people, especially when they think of me and think of a drag queen, they automatically think that I want like some big, tall, handsome stallion to come riding in on a white horse.
You always say that.
With like, the biggest penis, the most beautiful body, which is nice.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm so pansexual. I love girls. I love sexual activity with females. I love sexual activities with males. I love it all. I'm just a free for all. You know? I'm so not the stereotype.
Yeah.
Like I'm just beyond the stereotype.
So how else does your sexuality color your spiritual landscape?
I think that it really, like, again, it kind of allows me to travel my landscape without any
Okay.
roadblocks. Like
Okay.
I can deal with females, I can deal with the males, I can deal with heterosexuals, I can deal with bisexuals, I can deal with all walks of life.
Okay.
Beyond color, beyond creed, beyond religion, I'm just that person that I could do it all, deal with it all, hang with it all.
Do you feel like, because it sounds like your psyche is really constellated to be able to diversify your different emotions into almost like different zones of a city. Do you feel like you kind of adapted that visual metaphor because in order to interact with such a wide range of people, you kind of have to put on different hats and take them off and kind of...
Well, I don't even think that I would put on a different hat because I could go, like, if we just talk about Richmond, I could be Albion and go hang out with, the rich white women of Chesterfield County. I could be Albion and go dance with the kids over in, Gilpin Courts. I wouldn't say, I think that's the thing that really allows me, again, Albion, the persona, is so much well received. Like, as a black guy, there'll be some hang-ups of, you shouldn't be in this neighborhood after dark. You shouldn't do this. You all that kind of shit. But as Albion, it's like, oh, it's party. Let's go. She's a drag queen. She's gorgeous.
Like Whitney Houston herself.
Right. They look beyond the color, beyond the whatever. It's just, let's have a good time. So I think that Albion is, again, the persona, as you said earlier, kind of lets me travel that city in my soul. And, Daryl is more the reserved person who would handle, like, Daryl would be like the mayor and the governor and the whatever of the city. And then Albion would be like the socialite. Does that make sense? Like in the city?
Yeah. Oh,
Kind of thing?
And that's really interesting. So what is...
Let me do it for you.
So talk about Daryl's influence. DJ. Okay, DJ's influence more over the city. So you feel like he's like the
he's like the
legislative kind of
like the business
organizer.
The organizer.
Interesting.
The one that handles the business.
Okay.
And then Albion's the party girl.
So talk to me more about DJ's interest. Do you feel like DJ's more interested in thoughts and systems and holding things kind of together?
More in organization and thoughts, as you said, and setting up systems to make things work and to mesh and to again, it's like handle business and be more of a adult. Albion, like, let's party, let's do it.
That's cool. So
I get to be two people.
Yeah, but you're not confused at all about it. It's like an asset to be able to draw on their energies at the appropriate time.
I've never had any interest in transitioning or becoming a woman or none of that. Like Albion is literally a persona. It's literally I always explain it to a lot of people, especially guys, when it's time for dating and stuff, that Albion is literally like a uniform. I put this on, I put on this persona, I go to work, I come home from work, and I take it off. Like, I don't want to live as Albion. I don't want to wear, wigs every day. I don't want to make, it's literally a persona, put it on, take it off.
Do you feel like there are other personas within you?
Kinda.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, like, I think, not to be so like,
you're okay. Go anywhere you want with this.
there's like a really, really like sexual, freaky, curious, adventurous side to me. And then there's also like a very spiritual, I love God and my family and my connection to the higher powers and whatever. So there's like so many pieces to my puzzle that I'm willing to admit and accept. And,
So do you feel like each one of those facets kind of could become their own persona? Or
I don't think that they will become their own persona. Let's just say if life were a movie, they're like the supporting actresses, or actors, or whatever.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so
they make up the mold. Like,
cool.
if there's a cake, they're like the egg and the vegetable oil and everything that goes into making.
So the main two are DJ and then Albion, and then can you tell me more about
And then there's like a little freak side. So we got to figure out a name for him.
Oh, okay. It's a him.
We'll talk about. Yeah, it's more of a him. Yeah, it's more of a him.
Okay.
Because he likes manly stuff.
When you think of him, how much can you see about him or his energy and like what his preferences and
everything? I know what I want. I know what I want it to look like. I know what I want it to taste like. I know the adventure behind it. I know everything. So maybe there is another persona.
Okay.
I'm learning something about myself.
And that could very well happen because it seems like you've, not to project too much or whatever, but just speculating, it seems like you've really constellated your psyche with DJ and Albion. And in a lot of men always have their image of what a female looks like.
Correct.
Which, so because this is a little bit related to the subconscious, Carl Jung, the famous depth psychologist who kind of really brought all this to the fore, he calls that the anima. And the anima is the female inside men. And women have an animus, and that's the idea of a man.
I'm not even sure if I have any female inside of me, though. Seriously, I mean, because like sexually, I like the manly side of even with being gay. Like I'm the manly side of gay.
Yeah.
So I like the.
Oh yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't even know if there is any anima. Well, I'm sure there is some, feminine traits or whatever.
And this can be really interesting that you say that because Carl Jung has also pointed out that when you're in harmony with your anima or your animus, you're in harmony with them, so you don't really notice it. And you wield this energy very consciously, you wield it as a persona, but you're very harmonious with who you are and in your sexuality, right?
I'm very in tune. I know what the hell is happening.
Which would make sense why you would explain that it feels that way to you.
Yeah, it just... It just feels, you like what you like. Some people are always like, I want to explore and see if I like this, if I like that. I know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah. Very cool. So can you describe your city in a little bit more detail? Does it feel like Richmond? Does it feel like Charlottesville? Does it feel like Bronx? Does it feel...
It feels like New York.
It feels like New York?
Yes, because there's so many moving parts and so much, it just never sleeps. There's always ideas pumping out. There's always adventure lurking. There's always spontaneity. There's always, so it feels like it just never sleeps. My city is like it just never has a lights off moment. This is always up, always thinking of something, always what's next, always planned out, always like there is not a day in my life or in my soul or whatever, that I'm like, oh, I'm so bored. What am I going to do? I'm just going to stay here and watch TV. Like, there's always something on the horizon. Like, maybe I should start painting this room, or maybe I should start making this dress. Maybe I should go get sucked off, or maybe I should. Like, there's always like a plan of something. So it's never like just the down woosah.
Yeah. So it's you have a spontaneity, but you're in the flow of life, and it's like you.
Yes. So there's always a flow, but then there's also, oh, okay, well, let's go do that, or hey, let's try that, or so it's always like the same thing with New York. You're walking down the street and you're like, oh, there's a fabric store, let's just drop in, or oh, there's a new pizza spot, let's go in. It's always that adventure, that spontaneity, that just like let's go, let's do it, let's roll with the punches.
Very cool. Are you able to like zoom in and get really close up to your city, or is it always kind of like what kind of viewpoint do you have?
I have both viewpoints where I can sit back and dissect the city and say this is happening over here, this is happening over here, this is happening over here. And then there's sometimes where I get consumed in a certain part of the city, and that could last a couple of days. Or for instance, like I can get consumed in the business part of it. I'm like, this whole week we're going to focus on car registration and paying the bills, and I can get focused in on that. And then there's a week where I'm like, God, I'm like really horny and sexually adventurous, and I can get, a few days, I'm like, let's do it, bam, 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 and then I'm like, okay, and then a week will pass, and I don't visit that side of town again, and then, so I can see it all. I can make up the whole city.
That's very cool.
I really like this. This is kind of really answering some questions or giving me some insight about my city. I like it.
What kind of insight have you picked up?
Thanks. I needed that. So my insight of my city is like, I guess I'm I didn't know I was so willing to tell you I'm a slut. No, it's no such thing.
Albion, if that's the thing that surprises you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think I need to see a psychiatrist or something.
Well, you're cool, I'm
just kidding.
Right? Well, see, and this is the thing about this podcast is like, I'm getting more confidence as I've been able to talk to more people that one, it's just that initial conversation. And the cool thing about this podcast is, a lot of people are like you where once they're asked the question, then it's like it comes into life.
Let's just talk about it. Let's do it.
And then once you keep asking, it's like they're speaking it into existence. Mm-hmm. So a cool thing with this podcast is if you really like doing this, we can totally meet up at other points in the future. And you talk to me about how it evolved since the last time I saw you.
Tell you all about my secrets.
Yeah. And then even, while we're talking and stuff. So
because this is really it's kind of put a lot of things into perspective, because when you said that, when you approached me about this whole thing, and I was like, what is he talking about? Like a landscape? What the fuck? So I really started to dig and well, what would I say? How would I? And I promised myself that I wouldn't think about it, because I didn't want to come in with a rehearsed answer.
Yeah, or think about it just enough.
I just wanted to be like, well, actually, what does make up my structure or my city, or how does my soul feel, or what hurts my soul, or what protects my soul, or what. That's a really, it really did open. I'm so used to these interviews. Again, I've been working here for 17 years, and we're surrounded by the colleges, VCU. So every year, I end up doing so many interviews and senior reports and theses. I so much. And it's always the same questions. Yeah. And it's always, I think that they're looking for the horror story. Okay. They want me to tell them that I was bullied and that, my parents kicked me out. And so when I tell them the opposite, I wasn't bullied. My parents loved me. My mom come to drag shows. One of the last things my dad said to me before he died was that he wished he could have come to a show. So I don't have that horror story about, being bullied for being gay or being kicked out. And after a while, they start to seem like uninterested at that point, because they're not getting the grease that they thought they were getting. So this is really different. I've never done an interview that is not solely an Albion interview. This is really interesting.
Cool.
I'd say this all the time. We can get back to the subject, but I've never seen Daryl. I've never physically seen Daryl.
Really?
I've been doing drag since I was 18, and so week after week, day after day, I have to shave. So I never know what I would look like with facial hair. I never know, I've never seen.
Interesting.
I've never had the chance to allow my facial hair to go. This little break with the pandemic and everything that's going on has given it a little bit more space, but I'm still dragging on Wednesdays and Sundays. So that's twice a week that I'm still shaving. So it doesn't really get a chance to see if I'll have a full goatee, if I'll have a beard, if I'll have I've never seen Daryl. I've never, as an adult, I've never seen
Wow.
Daryl.
Interesting.
Yeah. Never.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that, because your actual name is Robert, right?
My dad's name is Robert. My actual name is Daryl.
Okay. I got you. I got you. Because when I remember years ago, I asked what was your real name.
My dad's name.
I only ever met you as Albion.
Yeah. Which most people nowadays, Daryl is non-existent except at work.
Right.
Like at my professional job.
Right.
Or friends from high school and stuff will still see me out in the streets and call me Daryl. But even my mom sometimes Miss Albion, where you going? Or stuff like that. It's just become who I am.
And the way you juggle your personas, it's not like a schizophrenia. It's like you're integrated and fluid across.
Again, I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't have to turn it off around these people or turn it on around these people. Or once I get home or, around my mom or whoever, I can't be this persona. So it's again, I get to kind of live the best of both worlds.
That's really cool.
The straight men love Albion.
Yeah.
The flirty, whatever. And then they can also have a beer on the patio with Daryl. So it's kind of I'm kind of pretty lucky.
And then I get to do an interview about the subconscious.
And then you sit here with no shirt on. And I'm sitting here trying to hold myself together and stare at the wall.
Covered in paint.
Covered in paint, looking like you just need to be wiped down or something. So I'm just staring at the wall. The box of trash over there.
Yeah. Well, you've never seen Oscar outside of his trash can.
Never.
This is me.
Never.
But yeah, so you really enjoyed this interview. Huh?
I did. I should thank you, because it has given me. almost curious to learn more about myself. Like I'm gonna go home and think to myself, like, what the hell is going on? Hello.
Is this a dead end?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Well, that's cool. So, real quick, what kind of... So you'd never thought of your psyche or your soul as a city until I
Until
asked
you asked me.
Uh-huh.
I've never thought about it as anything else except a soul.
Interesting.
Like I've never tried to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Make it what's the word?
Like a spiritual landscape?
No, like when you compare something or like compare when you
contrast or juxtapose.
when you say like when you say like this McDonald's burger tastes like
Oh, it's a
grass.
metaphor.
Metaphor.
Yeah, okay.
I've never used it as a metaphor.
Yeah.
And I'm very metaphoric. Is that a
Okay.
word?
Metaphorical.
Yeah, that word.
You're good.
I'm
You're
always
good. This
trying-
is your interview. Albion, we use whatever
always-
language you
I
want to
see.
hear.
And I'm always, because I'm very expressive. So I
Yeah.
always try to get people to
Yeah.
understand. And so I'm always using metaphors or
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever to get people to understand what I'm, oh, so cute.
Man, it's just all kinds of people coming
so
hanging out with
cute.
us. Yeah.
Hello, little cutie.
There's some good-looking people now.
Yeah.
They just keep getting prettier and prettier.
Hello. Yeah, the first couple weren't this pretty.
We'll keep y'all. Yeah. So, what kind of insight has being able to think of your soul as a city? Do you feel like it'd have a benefit for you?
Yeah. It's kind of, as I said, metaphorically.
Okay.
It's kind of giving me a better understanding of myself, of why or how many of these, so many, how many,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, how many pieces make up my soul and what goes into it.
Right.
And how one thing leads to another and, you know, kind of thing.
That's very cool. All right.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we could really keep talking for hours, but for the sake of people, I think,
Yeah.
maybe good to cut it here. But would you be interested to do a follow-up
Yes,
interview?
please.
Yeah? All right, cool.
This is interesting.
Cool. Well,
I'm going to go home and think about this.
cool. And
I'm going to have to write it out.
yeah,
draw.
a recommendation I have is now, like when I journal even as different personas, like whatever part of me felt like it received the experience. So I'll write it like that, or like I'm always also trying to document how my soul landscape evolved and maybe what happened in my life that inspired the change, what I realized about myself that allowed me to see something different.
Right.
If I had a problem, like in your case, if maybe there was a part of the city that you couldn't go into and then something changed in your life where now you started being able to go there.
Like the drag coming out of my city.
Yeah. So if you journal and document that kind of stuff, and like we'll follow up, or like you hit me up anytime you feel like you got an interesting development, or like you want to come talk again, like we totally do that and make it like a series.
Yes.
And evolve it together.
That would be fun.
Well, that's very cool. I appreciate your time.
I
Miss
appreciate
Albion.
my interview, you
Yeah.
fucking handsome, shirtless.
Is there anything you want to say to people before we cut this off? Like,
He's hot. No.
That's it. I mean, you could have told them about the virtual drag show.
No, we're not working today.
Okay.
We're
All right.
I just want people to own it. Like
Yeah.
live their city.
Yeah.
Live every part of their city.
Yeah.
Like
embody their inner weirdness.
yes,
Let it unfold.
let it all out because
Yeah.
it makes up who you are, and when you start to allow the weirdness to come out,
Yeah.
you'll get more comfortable and you'll appreciate every parts of your city.
Good.
I really think so.
And last question. Do you have anyone that you think would be good to maybe interview like this?
I think you should. You're fine. I think you should probably do. Somebody like Heavenly.
I was thinking that.
Somebody that's transgender and can explain or have a better how they felt
Yeah.
that led them to
Yeah.
transition or what
Yeah.
gave them the thought to
Yeah,
transition.
and I bet she's got an interesting spiritual landscape.
Yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. Heavenly's an amazing person. Period.
Yeah,
spiritually
I
and
love
everything.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I will totally do that. Thank you, Miss Albion.
You're welcome, Daddy. With your fresh shaved legs. Look at you.